All right. Looking at the last two problems on number 6 and 7, let's try those. Number 6, if QR is the angle bisector. Okay, we're going to actively read here. Angle bisector of PQS. What is the measure in degrees of PQS? All right, so let's break this down. Angle bisector should tell you that it cuts it into two equal parts. So I want you to be an active reader. When you see that it's bisecting that angle or it's cutting it into two equal parts, this QR has cut the whole angle into two parts, which means this angle up top, PQR, and this angle on bottom, RQS, they are equal in measure because that angle has been bisected, and that's what bisecting means. So a lot of you might be looking for where I tell you what this whole thing is, but we're not going to do that here. We want you to understand that this word bisector, telling you that this are two equal parts, allows you to write a different kind of an equation. Not an angle addition where you take one angle plus another angle, add them together to get the whole. But knowing that 2x plus 40 equals 5x plus 10, because those two angles, PQR, have equal measures to RQS. All right, this is an expression where we have x's and numbers on both sides and an equal sign, so we can actually solve this expression. I'm going to subtract 2x from both sides, and that will give me 40 equals 3x plus 10. Then I'm going to subtract 10 from both sides, and this will give me 30 equals 3x. Divide both sides by 3, and we get that x is 10. This may not be the way you're used to solving these problems, but it's using the same skills. We're going to take our x equals 10, and we want to find PQS. That's the whole angle, PQS. So I'm going to plug it into one part first of all. I'm going to take this number, and I'm going to plug it in up here. 10 times 2, or 2 times 10, plus 40 is 60 degrees. Okay. Now, I'm very welcome to plug it back into here, which we can see really quickly. 5 times 10 is 50, plus 10, which is also 60. However, since that you knew that it was bisected, knowing that this one is 60 tells you that this is 60. And that tells us that the entire angle is 2 times 60, or 120 degrees. So that's our answer, 120 degrees. All right, let's move on to number 7. We're going to draw a picture for this. Whenever you don't have a picture, I highly recommend drawing a picture. They tell you that P, Q, and R are collinear. That means co, together, linear, on a line. So P, Q, and R are 3 points that are together on a line. They tell us that Q is between P and R. So it doesn't matter where we put them, P and R, but Q is somewhere in between them. All right, now we're going to fill in what we know. PQ, from P to Q, is 5x plus 30. QR is 3x plus 80. And PR, the whole line segment, is 10x plus 20. All right, so we only learned to do 2 things with line segments. We learned to bisect them, and we learned to add the 2 parts to make the whole, and that's what we're going to do here. We are not told that it is bisected, so we cannot assume that these 2 parts are equal. But we do know that the 2 parts, 5x plus 30, and the other part, 3x plus 80, add up to the whole thing, 10x plus 20. So we're just going to solve this whole algebraic expression. I'm going to have to do it a little crammed in here. 5x and 3x is 8x. 30 and 80 is 110. And that equals 10x plus 20. I'm going to move two things simultaneously. I'm going to subtract 8x from both sides. And I'm also going to go back and I'm going to subtract 20 from both sides as well. This will move them both in one step. On the left-hand side, I have 110 minus 20, which is 90. On the right-hand side, I have 10x minus 8x, which is 2x. I'm going to divide both sides by 2, and I find out that x is 45. All right, that's not what they're asking me. They ask me what is the length of PR. So I have to go back and plug my 45 in. I'm going to do that over here. PR is 10 times my x, and we said that was 45, plus 20. 10 times 45 is 450, plus 20 is 470. And that is the final answer.